Big call by Corey Parker.
Caroline Nolan blows time on. The final game in round 3 of NRLW is underway, and it's Parramatta running towards the northern end of McDonald Jones Stadium. They might be searching for their first win still, but they're not short on form. Some of their tries, especially last week, breathtaking. One to Broughton, one to Penatani. And they'll look to get through this first set comfortably as they come back towards the middle of the ground.
And they're their leader in Taufa is Matt. She loves leading from the front foot, does all the hard work for the front. Oh, and they've come up with a mistake.
And that's Gail Broughton, first touch of the game, knock on, so they failed to complete their opening set. It has been a problem for the Eels. The pass from Mailangi out of dummy half, unable to be pulled in by the fullback Broughton. So a chance here for Newcastle.
Yeah, I kind of think, well, Gale should have held on to that ball. It was catchable, but very early on in the piece, we see the Knights and the Eels pack down for a scrum, and this is the first opportunity that we'll see from the Knights.
After a couple of big wins, Tasha, against Brisbane to start this campaign, then the Gold Coast narrowly last week, 16-12, but after a winless campaign on debut last season, they open with a couple of wins. They get an error and now a penalty. They'll kick to improve their position, will they? Or is it just tap and go?
It's very windy out there.
Yeah, we'll get down to Nico Pajarillo quickly, but you are spot on as we see Millie Boyle wind up and take play the 30-metre line. Southwell just dropping Wheel underneath. Mackenzie Wheel called into the starting 13, playing that lock forward position. Southwell again. Here's Caitlin Johnston. Trying to bulldoze the defence, which is up to the challenge. Boyle catch and pass for Dibb, and she keeps play going the same way. Shanice Parker off a fantastic game last week in the centres for Newcastle. Wheel again. And Mackenzie's only a couple of metres out. Final play for the Knights. They've worked their way into great position here. Southwell has it in front of the uprights. It's a grubber towards the in goal. Off the pads. Diving for the ball. It's been grounded or knocked on, has it? Caroline Nolan indicating goal line dropout. So grounded by the Eels.
I think she's got that one right there, Caroline Nolan. But you can see here, Jesse, I really think she aimed for that post, just to add the confusion to the Parramatta defence.
It was Tiana Penatani back there, taking no chances, grounding the ball instantly. And look at this from Caitlin Johnston winding up. That's how you want your front rowers to return the ball, Tasha.
Always a barnstorming run, powerful legs from Caitlin Johnson.
Boyle.
Kennedy, move!
So all the early play with the Knights. Olivia Higgins in the dummy half roll. Goes through Southwell, now put down by Kira Dibb. They let Parramatta off the hook, and the Eels applaud that. They've held the Knights out.
Yeah, lucky break for the Eels there, Matt. As the Knights do look dangerous out there on the left-hand side. But there are slippery conditions, as we just heard from Nico. But a rare mistake there from Kira Dibb. Again, very catchable ball.
Well, the Eels playing this first half with a significant southerly at their backs. Nico Pajarillo, how strong is it?
Good afternoon, Matty, Tasha. Happy Father's Day as well to all the dads out there. Yeah, Matty, as you mentioned, it is cold and windy down here. The rain has come and gone sporadically, but when it has come down, it's really poured. The sides will be tested in all weather conditions here today, it seems. The wind very, very strong at the back of Parramatta for now. Hope you guys are nice and warm up there in the commentary box.
Indeed we are, Nico, but we'll be down in those conditions later on as we see Parramatta bringing the ball forward. An important tackle by Shanice Parker early in the set on Penatani. That will be a key battle.
And what a great run we just saw there from Johnson in the Parramatta number 10 jersey.
Broughton catch and pass, and here's a chance for Horn. The right side centre, Rakia Horn. And Preston, the halves combination. Ashley Quinlan, Taylor Preston playing just their second game of NRLW each.
They were on debut last week, and they really made the difference for the Eels. As you see the kick go through.
Preston's grubber taken by Upton, work to do. Tamika's caught high, and the penalty comes as a result.
Just wait, it's not quick.
Well, the chase was strong, but the execution of the tackle gives Newcastle the bailout as a result.
Yeah, it does. And we saw Upton cop a rather nasty high tackle just last week. She's come up okay, and the chase here was good. It seems like they were going to manage to keep it. No, Tamika would have had the ball back in play anyway, but as it is, penalty to the Knights as they work their way out.
Only the second meeting, Tasha, between these clubs in the NRLW last season. 13-12 to Parramatta on the back of a Maddie Studden field goal. And such has been Newcastle's rebuild in the off-season. They only have 7 survivors from that inaugural clash with the Eels.
A huge rebuild from the Knights, and obviously making all the right recruitment decisions because they're yet to be beaten in this season.
One of those recruits, Millie Boyle, with that carry. Now Southwell. And they're driven backwards here, Yasmin Clydesdale.
There's that aggression that Dean Widders is trying to get out of Ellie Johnson. Each week we see her come up with more powerful and more aggressive runs.
There's another Johnston Caitlin on the opposition team with that carry. Now Southwell kicks into this southerly, and the wind gets hold of it. The bounce is good. Kira Dibb grabs hold of it. Still the last for Newcastle, and they'll have to change it over. They're 26 metres out.
Well, we talked about the great chase from Parramatta, and we've just seen the great chase from the Knights as Kira Dibb managed to get that ball and turn it over on the 30-metre line for the Eels to try and get out of their half.
Tasha Gull, you've been a trailblazer for Women's Rugby League. You played in all sorts of conditions. If you're captaining Newcastle, running into this southerly, how are you approaching your kicking game in this first half?
Well, I think if you've got the wind at your back, obviously, Matt, you're going to kick deep into the corners and you're going to strangle your opposition team with field possession. As
Here's
we see
a break. Almost away. The last pass lets them down. It was Vanessa Foliaki just needing some support. The winger couldn't get there in time. Ball to ground.
We're seeing some of these handling errors from some of our most experienced players. Vanessa Foliaki, you know, made the inaugural competition with the Roosters. But that there, no fault to her own, fumbled over the line.
So Parramatta keep possession here. 20 metres out. They cut a break and can build a really good attacking set inside the opposition 20. It's a dodgy play the ball, allowed to continue. Penatani. Sally Marlangi, that dummy half. It goes through Ellie Johnston. Likewise Taufa. Preston just rolls it off the palm for Foliaki. They open up both sides of the field. To the right they go. Preston for Rakia Horn. Horn all the way. Rakia Horn with some fancy footwork. The reach at the end, and Parramatta land the first blow.
And the Parramatta Eels have got the first 4-pointer through Rakia Horn. And I think you'll find here, Matt, in the lead up to this try, all eyes are on Gail Broughton as she switches out right, creates that gap up there through the inside, and she's a tricky little player, is Rakia Horn. And she goes in for the 4-pointer. It's all up to the kick now, Matt.
She scored a try in 2018 and hasn't scored since. But she's a player after my own heart. She loves listening to a bit of AC/DC, and if she can request a song after she scores, it's an Aka Daka special. Well, there she is, going over for the try, Rakia Horn.
I think it's going to be TNT if she could.
Yeah. She can be explosive, and she's delivered that first try. Born in Shell Harbour, coming out of 3 years with St George Illawarra, now in her second as a Parramatta Eel. So part of every NRLW Premiership so far. There's the conversion attempt. Unconventional, but it works. What a kick from Taylor Preston's sideline, Nico Pajarillo.
Yeah, beautiful evasive work there from Rakia Horn, the Shell Harbour product. As we said, her first try for the Eels, and indeed her first since 2018 when she was playing for the Dragons. She certainly got a heap of talent, Maddie. Won gold with Australia at the 2018 Rugby League Nines Commonwealth Championship. She'll be happy with breaking the drought in the NRLW here today.
That was more like a spot kick in soccer.
It was, yeah, very unconventional. But as we say, Matt, it's between the sticks for 6.
Absolutely. Who cares how they go over as long as they do? And it did. Can't wait to see the next conversion attempt from Taylor after that one. And Parramatta, having scored first.
And there we see a powerful run by Kennedy Cherrington, who's switched from the bench, coming onto the run-on team as she's normally used to, but coming off the back of knee surgery. I think that's why she started the first couple of games off the bench, Matt.
Now, Philomena Anisi going back to the bench today. Tasha, you're right. Kennedy Cherrington, 1 year at the Roosters, now in her second as an Eel. The Mulberry All-Star and New South Wales representative.
Let's not forget Rookie of the Year in her first season.
Absolutely. Here's another gap for Parramatta. Straight through Christian Piot, and she stopped 10 out. They are finding breaks in this Newcastle defensive line. Malangi backing away into the in goal. That's where they'll change it over. That's where you want to turn it over. 30 centimetres out in the corner.
Don't get much better than that, of course, unless you get a repeat set.
So, tough runs here for Newcastle. Look at them number up Parramatta defensively.
Very committed defence from the Parramatta Eels. Good line speed.
And a bailout, a penalty. They were too keen. The visitors offside.
I just put the knocker on them, saying how great their line speed was, and yep, a little bit too quick out of the blocks there. And there we see Jessie Southwell, who's great on the boot. 7 kicks last week for 224 kick metres.
Yeah, we're back to our earlier point where we're interrupted. If you're running with the breeze, which Parramatta are, you pump it long to the corners, but Newcastle kicking into the teeth of the wind. Is it low? Is it
Well, if you can
run
get
the ball
yourself,
to your 6? How do you approach it?
if you can get yourself close enough inside the 10, you thread it through. But it's not always that easy with the against the wind to actually get into such an attacking area.
Southwell goes long, confidently.
Bobby Law.
Two-time Indigenous All-Star Bobby. And that left centre role for the Knights. Already scored this season. Here's Wheel. Promoted to that starting role and enjoying herself.
Only 20 years of age is Wheel, and she's playing a strong game already.
Yeah, prominent. Southwell dummies, takes the line on, gets the ball away, and Upton, they were sweating on the Newcastle fullback. Alert to her danger. Samana Taufa. Who else? The experienced defender, Gail Broughton, brilliant. She picks it up at speed down low and stays in the field of play.
Absolutely, very well played by the Knights. Tried to thread it through, but Gail Broughton really well positioned there, and they did just what we thought, is get close enough and thread it through, but Gail Broughton ready there to clean it up and bring it out for the Eels.
Another good run.
Vanessa Foliaki, sorry.
Yeah, Parramatta's go forward, Tasha, as we see Preston kick, and look at her use the wind over the head of Upton, and she'll pick it up only a few metres out from her line.
The Parramatta Eels are really sticking to a great game plan. Just get it upfield and kick it to the corners.
Now the ball to ground by the Knights. It's Southwell picking up. She gets the ball away, and Parker can't really advance play.
Got to do a little.
And a penalty again. Parramatta, not for the first time in this half, conceding a penalty and inviting Newcastle out of trouble.
Indeed, piggyback out of here for this one. Just Shanice Parker, I've got to do a little shout out to
Parramatta's Parramatta's disputing the
former
on-field decision of a penalty against marker pressure.
Well, you captained. You were a teammate.
Absolutely. Played alongside the great Danielle Parker as a Gillaroo. But we see here, I think, is it a captain's challenge?
It is a captain's challenge.
Sally Fay has hold of the Newcastle jersey and pushes it down as she's about to play the ball. The challenge on the field is unsuccessful.
I don't know about that. It looked like it was milked. Just see it. Maybe. Nope, she's taken it.
So the challenge unsuccessful by Parramatta, yet Sally Fay had hold of the jumper and was pulling her down.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that make it a successful challenge for not clearing the ruck?
Well, in my book, it would, Matt.
All the way here.
But they've deemed that,
Go right, good work. One there.
yeah,
Got to play it as it's seen. Put it behind you now.
Kennedy. Go two.
that's why Newcastle have the ball now through Millie Boyle.
Work here, Sally. On side, hold. Go three.
Now Johnston.
Christian, move!
She just racks up those post-contact meters, doesn't she, Johnson? Keeps his leg pumping.
Here's Upton. Upton pulls away through. Tamika Upton for the corner. She's too good. She finds a way. Tamika Upton brings Newcastle back into the game.
Absolutely, as we're used to seeing from Tamika Upton time and time again, Matt. She makes her own opportunities and she's got such a rangy run and a great step, and we're going to see here today for this try. Look at the reach. A few metres out and she reaches over and definitely puts that ball down for the 4 points for the Knights. Gail Broughton trying to wrap her up there, but she's just got pace and step. And with each step, she stepped off the left there. She makes a couple of metres, changing in directions into the right. Samau Mataufa falling off that tackle there, and she's very, very sound tackler. So it just shows Gail Broughton as well just how elusive Tamika Upton is.
Now the conversion attempt from the sideline into the wind. It was on target by Kira Dibb, just a little short. A mighty effort, but back to that penalty. So Parramatta concede the penalty for interference in the ruck. They challenged and were unsuccessful because they didn't clear the ruck. Newcastle come up with possession and then make the most of it. And Tamika Upton, she leads the league as part of these try-scoring wonders. She's got good company, plenty of players around her with 8 and 9 tries.
She sure does. And I tell you what we see here, the good defensive players attempting to wrap her up, but just last week, Tamika Upton, 10 tackle busts. So it's no surprise there if you can't hang on to it. You've got to get a couple of your players together to contain Tamika Upton.
They go towards their front rower, starting Caitlin Johnston. Yeah, Tamika Upton, her numbers last week: 1 try, 17 carries, more than 200 metres, and as you said, 10 tackle busts. Now it's Boyle. Tamika Upton, one of the recruits after 3 years at the Broncos. Now Dibb has the defence underneath the rib cage.
There's that mongrel that we like to see from Ellie Johnson.
Southwell finding Mackenzie Wheel. Newcastle kicking right on halfway. It goes out towards the eastern sideline where it's taken cleanly, but the chase is good.
Tess Haynes, good little winger, sure of her hands, but well wrapped up.
Jakai Whitfield, the debutante on that wing for Newcastle, making a good chase, but then conceding a penalty. It's great to see the next generation of players coming through. Regular debutantes in the NRLW this season, Tasha.
Well, one of those, Ruben Cherrington, is on the bench for the Parramatta Eels. Let's hope to see her make her debut out here today.
And play NRLW with her sister, Kennedy, for the first time.
Absolutely. They play together at the Sharks at the Harvey Norman Men's Premiership level.
Now Parramatta from 30 metres out, they attack, and it's Pio.
She did well to hang on to that ball there too.
Very well. Sally Mailangi finds Preston, who just drifts across the ground. This second game NRLW halfback. Samama Taufa, tackling machine. Here she is with a carry. She was huge last time these teams met. Now the kick from Quinlan through the line. Is it too heavy? Yes, it is. Well left by Autumn Rain Stevens-Daly, who bent down, was tempted to have a go at the ball, but backed herself and watched it roll dead.
Well, it's well thread through here into the in-goal area. It looked to be perfectly weighted, and the great chase from Penatani and Faye there. You're right. I thought she was just going to knock it over the line, but the bounce was good, and she let it go over itself. So the Knights have the ball.
Thumbs up for Olivia Higgins, just given an on-field head injury assessment. So she runs back into the middle of the field, preparing to resume dummy half duties, and here she is entering screen now.
Well, Olivia Higgins last week played just 34 minutes, but onto the field came Emma Manselman. I'm really looking forward to the impact that she may well bring here today from the dummy half position, as she did last week. And I see a mistake.
And it's ruled a...
You fall over and your dummy half knocks it on, no.
Well, there's the ruling from Caroline Nolan, an error by Newcastle. Just ruled poor play the ball.
Okay, Jessie Southwell has the ball here, tucked in under a wing. She played it, she fell down, but yeah, messed it up there.
Good ruling, the right call. So Parramatta right on halfway. That shot sums it up. They come out towards the wing of Penatani, or do they go back towards Nakia Horn, who scored their opening try of the game? Here's Preston.
Nakia Horn was hunting up there in support. Keen to get another one.
Taufa does well to take the ball. It was a wild pass from Broughton. The fullback finding herself at dummy half. And now Cherrington.
Mackenzie, straight up! Ellie, all the way here, hold.
Quinlan out the back for Broughton, who knocks it on. And errors are frustrating both coaches, no doubt.
Yeah, it's frustrating me up here from the box. I know it's easy to call from here, Matt, but the service there from Sally Mailangi, there was nothing wrong with that. Vanessa Foliaki just gets the ball too far behind to Gail Broughton, unable to clean it up. The Knights get another breather.
The ladder, the Roosters are 3-0 on top of the ladder. Differential plus 70, fantastic. Newcastle can stay with them as unbeaten. St George Illawarra 2-1. Brisbane opening their account yesterday against Gold Coast 22-4, but Parramatta and the Titans yet to notch their first win. It's not sudden death for Parramatta today, but they'd love to win.
Well, it's very close to sudden death. They still can magically do it if they don't come away from the win, but you've got to say it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that Dean Witters is relying on the 2 points that they can pick up here today.
They need more defence like that. A really strong tackle, middle of the field, led by Ellie Johnston. Southwell. Now Kira Dibb goes long for Law, who goes through the line. Bobby Law wrapped up one-on-one. Strong tackle from Tess Staines. Dibb, the grubber. It's into the in-goal. Work here for Gail Broughton, who leaves it and in the end has to play at the ball. The Eels force a goal line dropout. The Kira Dibb kick, spot on.
Absolutely. As we said, I think that's the best option. If you get within kicking distance, put it down on the ground and thread that one through and get that repeat set, which is exactly what the Knights have done here. And my, how the tides turn. We're up, down. The Eels look to be about to score, but error, as you mentioned, Matt. See the Knights now in brilliant attacking position as Gail Broughton will make an attempt at this goal line dropout. Nice and deep.
Goes best part of 45. And Millie Boyle chews off those metres in return. Post-contact metres, and with that run, Millie Boyle up beyond 100 run metres already. She became the first NRLW player to average more than 170 run metres last season. She set aside another 200-metre running game today. Now Johnson, Caitlin Johnston. Higgins. Cut-out pass in front of Jessie Southwell. And all Newcastle could do was dive for the pass, but it's been knocked on landing.
Kenzie Wheel, I think it is.
it was, and in hindsight, which is always perfect, the better option is just to go straight to Jessie Southwell, who was calling for the ball.
Yeah, great footwork, very close to the line too. Jessie Southwell, we've seen that over the last couple of weeks.
Cronulla Sharks here for their NRL game with the Knights. The Sharks win today, finish second, and host a Week 1 final at Shark Park. If there's a hiccup, they're off to the Cowboys. They're off to North Queensland. Big game coming up on Fox League. Andrew Voss, Steve Roach, Darcy McDonald to bring you the first NRL game on your Sunday ticket. Knights, Sharks, not too far away.
And not too far away either, Matt, is the Sharks franchise coming into the NRLW.
You're excited about that, aren't you, Tasha?
I am so excited about that. There's a lot of play. There will be a lot of player movement. I can guarantee you that.
So go forward, a bit of a problem here for Parramatta. Where's the big run going to come from? Boyle says, not on my watch.
Don't hold on. Ruben, don't hold on.
Here's the kick from Taylor Preston. Bouncing up high for Tamika Upton. That very easy to spot running style, Tasha.
Absolutely, those long levers. But we just saw there that the Parramatta struggled, only made 29 metres on the fifth kick there. So Taylor Preston managed a deep kick, but handing it over anywhere around the 30 is not good field position.
Big moment for Tiana Davison, the 21-year-old, on debut and onto the ground. And here she is, her first run as an NRLW player. Congratulations, Tiana.
Welcome and congratulations, Tiana Davison. She was actually scouted over to the Knights by none other than Kaylin's dad, Andre Ponga. Bit of experience from her in rugby sevens. See what she can bring today.
Southwell's grubber goes hard into the legs of Parramatta.
That's off Newcastle.
Off the Knights, and will be said to be play on as Kennedy Cherrington. Happily here's the call. Zartli Faye off her wing. Brooke takes off out of dummy half. As has been mentioned in the first couple of weeks, she has plenty of golds, Olympic, Commonwealth, World Cup sevens as a rugby union player. And that's good to see her bring that skill to NRLW. She's yet to link with Tiana Penatani like she did last week a couple of times. Preston had to spin away from Kira Dibb, who was up looking for the big shot. So inside the final 10 of this first half. One try each. The difference, a remarkable Taylor Preston conversion, it must be said, and now another penalty for the visitors.
Such a dangerous time, Matt. You don't want to bleed points coming into the sheds at half-time.
Tapping.
Parramatta will certainly take advantage of this, and we talked about the linking up on the left-hand side between Penatani and Broughton. Don't be surprised if we don't see that in this set.
So the run from Jemima Taufa, drawing a tackle from Yasmin Clydesdale that just crept a little high.
She's a tough one, Taufa. Take more than that to stop
Yasmin,
her.
you're on report.
In fact,
the high
Clydesdale's
tackle.
gone on report for that tackle.
Is she a HIA? Yeah, okay, cool. That's all right.
That's Kennedy out there.
It is leaving the field under HIO protocol, so a bit happening. High tackle, player on report in Clydesdale, and a player off in Kennedy Cherrington for an unrelated head
You're
knock.
gonna just wait for me.
As a result, it's Philomena Hanesi onto the ground for Dean Witters, the Parramatta coach.
Hope to see Kennedy back. She won't be back this half, Matt, but let's hope she's fit enough to run on for the all-important second half.
Nevada George met strongly and driven backwards. Taufa goes to Hanesi. Philomena debuted at the Roosters and is in her second year at the Eels. Preston to Rakia Horn. Again, running into some slightly highish contact from Bobby Law. No problem there, says the referee. Taufa, catch and pass. Now into a hole, it's Pio. And it closes quickly. Caitlin Johnston again defending well with Southwell. Taufa, Preston, and the straight run is a handy one,
Last
but
circle.
well read by the defence.
Go. Millie, come to him, Millie.
Preston grubbers and chasers. It's been picked up.
Play that. The last tackle, yeah, it's incidental. Hold there, wait,
So they'll change it over. Yeah, not played at.
wait.
And the defence holds.
Lock in,
They do now. The Knights have to work it out of this area. Oh, powerful, met by very powerful defence there from the Parramatta Eels. Caitlin Johnson having a breather, leaving the field. But they'll rely on Taylor Predabon here for a lot of the go forward. And here she is with the
And
ball.
now it's been put down. Taylor Predabon just getting a little bit ahead of herself. She'd come on for Caitlin Johnston, was looking to continue the good work. Will just be a little mental reset after that.
There I was giving her a big rap about the go forward. It looked like I was, you know, perfectly orchestrating that as she gets the ball, just on script. But no, dropping it was not on my script.
Well, it wasn't on Taylor's either, but she'll not let that worry her.
Quick, clock off. Ball in.
In her first year at Newcastle, part of the recruitment drive. So Parramatta from the back of a perfectly placed scrum. Go to Gail Broughton, the dummy. It was well read. The defence stayed on assignment. Parker it was. Who's got her hands full with Penatani and Broughton coming over this side as well on plenty of occasions. Quinlan DePio, who's rocked by strong defence. They leaked more than 24 points per game last year on average, Newcastle. It's been a big improvement. Broughton catch and pass. Rakia Horn. All she could do was make sure of ball security. Bobby Law up quickly to make that stop. Here's Hanisi.
Last circle, Olivia, move.
How can the Eels break this line? It's the final play. They head towards the short side, and the kick and chase is the option. It's going to be too heavy. Vanessa Poliaki would like to have that one back.
A little bit too heavy off the boot there, and Tamika Upton, the ever-present fullback, runs it up, takes the quick tap.
Surely it's a breakdown there on the final play. You don't want your edge forward left with the kick, do you, Tasha?
No, not at all. But Vanessa didn't do too badly there to thread it through, just a little bit too heavy.
Higgins picked up and driven backwards now. Well, Parramatta, they want their first win. Strong run from Predabon. There's your cue, Tasha.
That's on my script. Right, just that, exactly that.
Now Davison, the first gamer. Dib holds the ball, bounces away from the attempted tackle from Samaima Taufa, who's a little slow back to her feet. Big contact.
Big contact by Samaima Taufa, and Dib just brushed her off like she wasn't there.
Southwell dummying and stepping. You've got to keep reminding yourself that she's only 17 years of age, Tarsa. So assured.
She is, and she doesn't actually celebrate her 18th birthday until February next year. She's injured there. She's feeling every bit of her 17 years of age right now. The dummy, the great step. But then again, you need two of those great defensive players to actually bring her down. Look at that step.
Yeah, she
The
just
contact here from Hanisi, just struggling to see where she's picked up the concern in that tackle.
Just trying to see.
Nevada George. Yeah, okay, you're on report. That's for a hip drop. A hip
Looks
drop,
like
I
a
think it's going to be a penalty against you.
It's a hip drop tackle, and
She's still down.
Jessie Southwell with an ankle as a result.
Nevada
Have another
George,
look.
I think. Nevada George.
It was. Nevada George on report for a hip drop tackle, which the league, no matter which grade you're playing in, is really cracking down on. Let's have a look at this again.
This is exactly why the NRL are cracking down on these hip drop. It's using your body to cause extra stress on the legs when the player already appears to be wrapped. And this is why, because you have superstars, rising stars of the game, that suffer injury as a result of such a dangerous technique. But good to see Jessie's back on her feet.
And the Knights in a position to take the lead just before half-time.
Okay, Gale, move, give
So now a
space.
test to Parramatta's goal line defence. Newcastle have passed a couple of theirs with flying colours. Predabon driven backwards, that's strong.
Give space, 16. Oh, wait.
Now Upton. And Romy Teitzel goes very close.
You touch
Penalty
the ground and then you
to
promote the ball.
Parramatta. Double movement from Romy.
Romy looks incredulous, saying, no, ref, no, I did not do that. Pushes through. The ball's on the ground there. Does she promote it? Well,
Well,
Caroline
replay
Nolan.
says yes. Maybe she was in disbelief in herself for being tempted to do that. The ball carrying arm hit the ground and it was a definite second reach towards the in goal. So Parramatta survived. They hold this 6-4 lead. Remember their only previous meeting, a thriller, 13-12. Maddie Studden's field goal the difference.
And it was a thriller that took place at this very stadium behind the Knights, in front of the Knights home team support. They won't want that result again today. They want to impress their fans, the very loyal Knights fans.
Also in conditions like we're receiving today, with showers expected throughout the afternoon. A bit of damp weather won't keep the Newcastle faithful away. They're fantastic fans, as we see here. Horn forced to clean up a bouncing ball. Last play, they're still their own side of halfway, and it's Preston going high, letting the wind do the rest. Upton almost tangled the teammate, but she makes the catch safely.
Good kick pressure there on Preston. She was forced to make a very quick kick. I think it was Olivia Higgins came up. Kick pressure.
Yeah, Bobby Law was the player involved in that tangle. She takes the next run, and now it's Clydesdale. Put on her back strongly by the Eels. Parramatta's first half defence, Tasha, you like what you've seen?
Very solid, Matt, very solid. Good line speed. We saw they copped a penalty very early this way, and we see the ball ripped. Refs called play on. It was a one-on-one. Every right to attempt to gain possession of that ball.
It was Tamika Upton losing her footing, falling awkwardly, and maybe more mindful of body position and getting out of potential injury than keeping the ball. Parramatta strip it and have time here to extend their lead. Good defence from the Knights. Strong in the middle of the ground. It's Taylor Predabon picking up where Caitlin Johnston left off. Preston.
And the opportunity that Parramatta got there came from Ash Quinlan to strip that ball from Tamika Upton.
Now George, Nevada George. Last play.
Olivia not square.
Quinlan says, let's go through the hands to Gail Broughton. Broughton still going, no support. And they'll change it over 14 metres out.
Well,
Half minute to play.
Olivia Higgins was called not square. Now, the smart Parramatta player would have run at her, make her make an attempt at a tackle, and that way you get another set of 6 on the line. Not to be, they went left.
So 1 try each in the first half. Rukia Horn scoring the first one by Parramatta. Tamika Upton answering. And it's only a kick from Taylor Preston, a conversion that is the difference, because as we reach half-time, it's the winless Eels, the visitors, leading unbeaten Newcastle 6 points to 4. It's not so spring-like in Newcastle. A strong southerly blowing showers in over McDonald Jones Stadium as this NRLW game resumes in the second half with Parramatta the visitors leading by 2 points, still chasing their first win of the season. Can they hold on? Can they build this lead running into the Southerly? We're underway in the second half. Newcastle trying to keep pace with the Roosters as unbeaten on top of the table. Matt Russell, Nico Pajarillo and Tasha Gale. Tasha, what are you thinking regarding this second 35 minutes?
Well, I'm quite surprised. I thought it was the Knights that were going to take the sword to the Eels and almost cut off their chances of making the finals. But no, it's been the electric Eels that have sent a jolt through the metal armour of the Knights as they lead into the second half. An interesting point, Matt. Neither of these teams scored any points in the second half last week.
Okay, you sound like you've been watching Game of Thrones as well, with armour and swords. And now a mistake, a chink in the armour here of Newcastle. They failed to complete their first set, and they're going to challenge something here. They've alerted Carolee Nolan.
Knights are challenging the on-field decision of a knock-on.
So Matt Noyan putting this under review.
Just looking to see if there's any ruck interference by Parramatta.
Ooh. Taylor Preston, did she deliberately leave that leg and knee around the ball for too long as she cleared the ruck, Tasha? This is a tough one.
Well, she's got to get back into a marking position and be
Parramatta
square
player
up.
comes back through the ruck with a leg. This forces the ball to go out and causes ruck interference. The challenge by Newcastle is successful.
Okay, they hold their challenge. It's a good challenge.
Yes, well, she was getting back, but you saw the leg come through there. Did she deliberately keep a knee in the way there? They've decided yes, and Newcastle come up with the penalty.
Well, Yasmin Clydesdale liked it. She was the one who saw the ruling reversed in her favour. Not a poor carry at all by Yasmin. It was ruck interference as Bobby Law goes to business and is put on her back strongly by Taylor Preston and Rakia Horn. Higgins finds Predabon, who crosses the 30. Good go forward after contact again from Taylor. Higgins for Southwell. This is Upton. She goes for Teitzel. Romy Teitzel, stubborn, standing for a long time before being flung to ground. Wheel angles her run towards the uprights. So 2 plays left, both sides of the field open. They attack to the right. Teitzel tackled strongly by Penatani. Zali Faye lending her weight to the tackle as well. And Southwell, with all the line having to check its run through. Ball allowed to bounce in the in goal. And in the end, it's knocked dead in goal. So a dropout coming the way of the Knights. It was Autumn Rain Stevens-Daly in the end, I think, who got a high hand to the ball here. The winger coming in and just doing enough.
Yeah, I think it's Tess Staines that had to knock it out there, Matt. But
It is Tess Staines.
my concern is we've got Philomena Hanisi running out there. Not starting the game is Kennedy Cherrington. We haven't heard from that HIA, but maybe Nico can fill us in.
We're going to check in with Nico very shortly as Newcastle enter your position 20 again. So Tess Staines saving that try-scoring opportunity for Parramatta, but now turning to defence again. Southwell gives it to Predabon, who winds up. Taylor Predabon backs away over the line, gets the ball down, but we will need to check.
I don't think she has, Matt. I don't think she has. Powerful run, but she's reached over that line. I'm not sure if she was able to ground that. I think there might be a little bobble.
Confirm that she loses the ball over the line.
Well, Carolee Nolan rules no try. Lost in the act of scoring here.
The ball fails to reach the ground on first attempt. We're just looking in when she comes back if it makes the line.
So had control with her initial attempt to ground the ball. Point didn't hit the grass. And then it's lost, isn't it?
Just seeing if she maintains possession at this stage.
No try. Still in possession. Then possession lost as she tried to find the line with that movement.
Oh, she's certainly got some bodies on her.
Just looking to see if she's maintained possession at this point.
So they're going to rule that she has maintained possession.
The Newcastle player maintains possession of the ball. As you can see from this angle, the ball is grounded on the line. We have a decision.
Okay, it's a try for Taylor Predabon. And the big front rower is congratulated by her teammates.
And look at the celebration. If not delayed, but we had Newcastle Knights having on tender hooks there, having to wait before the successful try was awarded to that great front rower that is Taylor Predabon. And now it's kicking duties for the Knights to further go up their lead. Ooh, and a little bit of feisty there from
Emma Manselman, just letting Parramatta know that, hey, my interchange forward just scored a try, although there'll be plenty still debating that. Fact is, Taylor Predabon has been awarded a try, her second of this campaign.
a little bit to and fro there between the teams, a little bit heating up.
Kira Dibb with the conversion attempt. It is good. Newcastle back in front, 10 points to 6. Nico Pajarillo.
Guys, just letting you know, Kennedy Charrington has passed her HIA. Also, an injury update. We saw Autumn Rain Stevens-Daly walk off a bit gingerly after that first half. The Knights say it is a medial ligament issue in her knee. They don't know if it's serious or not at this point, but she's been taken off as a precaution and won't be back today.
Thank you, Nico. There's the try scorer, Taylor Predabon. Let's remember that her first involvement in this game was a mistake, a drop ball. It's been a nice bounce back by Taylor.
Yeah, she's laid on some really heavy tackles as well as some strong runs since that. It's always important to shake that off and get on with the game.
Autumn Rain Stevens-Daly out of the game with a suspected medial issue. Tamika Upton takes the kickoff. And the return from Tiana Davison, 21-year-old debutant. We'll see, hopefully, Caitlin Moran off the bench as well for the Knights in jumper 18 later, making her NRLW debut.
And doesn't she have some history? She's actually a successful Jillaroo, part of the winning World Cup team. But her start to the NRLW was a little bit delayed. She was all set in 218, but unfortunately a nasty ACL injury saw her unable to start. So maybe she gets her debut today, Matt.
Only a matter of time, you'd imagine, off the bench. As Newcastle build a nice set here. That's the final tackle. Having come more than 50 metres. Southwell gets the kick away. A wobbly cross-field bomb. Bobby Law was in the air looking for the catch. Instead, the ball goes through multiple sets of arms. We'll hand it over. About 10 metres out. Well,
it was a great kick by Jessie Southwell because she had pressure on her. The ball had only just left her toe as she was forced to the ground by the strong Parramatta defence, and Bobby Law was expecting it. She leapt high for that, unable to keep it in control, and so the Parramatta Eels now got the work to do.
Strong run by the Eels. Straight after this one, it's Newcastle against Cronulla, the first of your NRL games this afternoon. The Sharks needing to beat the Knights to go back into second spot and earn that week 1 hosting role. The Knights with just 2 wins at home this season, so they're keen to repay home fans who keep turning out. It's up next on Fox League. Long from the Eels, out towards the wing of Zali Faye. Faye's away! Comes to the fullback in Upton, who makes a good one-on-one stop. Last play here for the Eels. It sweeps back and finds Preston, who kicks across ground, looking for Tess Staines. Ball there, Staines there, and Parramatta have their try. Tess Staines times it perfectly. The kick works, and the Eels bounce back.
The Eels bounce back. They're electrifying. We just saw that Bobby Law read the kick down the other end of the field, Matt. The kick from Jessie, and Bobby Law read it. But how good did Tess Staines read this kick here? Great kick from Preston, as we see in the replay. from a good distance out. She pops it up nice and high for a right wing, that is Tess Staines. Now, I've got to say the bounce definitely favoured Parramatta there, but Tess Staines had to be there. She read it well, running onto the ball and just beating the Newcastle defence there. Nice bounce, make sure of that grounding, 2 hands. Another 4 points for the Parramatta Eels. Game on.
Kaya Whitfield had come in off her wing by a way and opened that passage for Staines, the 20-year-old. Born in Wagga Wagga, a rich sporting area, the Riverina. Tasha and Tess Staines scores for the Eels in her maiden NRLW campaign.
Yep, and she's scored a few at the Harvey Norman Women's Premiership level, but it's good to see her mixing it up with the NRLW and producing the same result as we see the kick.
Again from Taylor Preston, 2 from 2, the most remarkable of styles. A strike which we've not seen in the NRL. Sideline, Nico Pajarillo.
Yeah, she's very unorthodox, isn't she, Maddie, Taylor Preston? Originally from Cronulla, playing only her 2nd NRLW game here today, despite having represented Australia in the Prime Minister's 13 a number of years ago. They persisted with Taylor in the halves alongside Ash Quinlan. The Eels, I feel, did lack a bit of direction at times in round 1, but they were much better last week with Taylor and Ashley in the halves.
So Taylor Preston kicking for tries and also kicking to convert tries fantastically well. And as a result, this 2nd game NRLW halfback has her team ahead 12-10.
Kira off the ball. He said Newcastle.
A long way to go in this game.
Kira, don't drift.
Here comes Foliaki.
Yasmin, move. Push up and marker. Hold.
4 years of NRLW for Vanessa, and strong on this right edge.
Just saw that replay of that incredible conversion kicked by Preston. Blessed. Hit the post, but still went over the crossbar.
How would you describe it? It's not around the corner, but it's not a toe poke either. As Preston passes here for Foliaki, and the defence closes. It's somewhere in between, Tasha.
Yeah, I've not seen it in any coaching manual. No way. And I wasn't the best kicker in the game, but certainly that is an unorthodox style. But it's worked both times for the 2 points.
Good run by Kennedy Cherrington, opening up Preston to kick on the front foot, down for Upton, who beats 1. The first half stats, more than 100 run metres, 5 tackle busts. Kira Dibb now, bringing plenty of height and strength to that 5/8 role for the Knights.
Well, both Upton and Dibb, strong, rangy runners with a good dummy and a good step. The Knights will be looking to them to help them out now. They need the next try.
Most recent run by Whitfield, and here Newcastle set their sights on halfway. Just short at the penalty though. It's Shanice
Kennedy
Parker
swings her to 2nd effort.
drawing the penalty, a 2nd effort called against Caitlin or Ellie Johnston.
Right there, it was Ellie Johnson just going for a 2nd push down.
Clydesdale to play the ball early in the set. Newcastle trying to go back in front. Here's their Johnston. Caitlin. Higgins keeps the ball close. Taylor Predabon.
Ruben off the arm.
Let's see how much go forward Predabon and Johnston can provide on the field at the same time. Higgins, and it was meant for Johnston. Knocked on by Parramatta, and Newcastle will keep possession here in great position.
Yeah, Vanessa Foliaki just unable to hang on to that ball. See the ball here to Higgins. She's read it. She thought she might just pick this up, does the edge forward, and have a fair run on her hands if she did hang on to it.
The sun shining on McDonald Jones Stadium at the moment, but showers have blown throughout the day, and this strong southerly showing no signs of abating as Southwell goes to Upton. Tamika Upton, hard to force to ground. Manzelmann to Southwell. She's held 5 metres out. With the offload, though. Now it's Romy Teitzel. She gets the ball away. Upton cleans up. And they keep possession. This is Mackenzie Wheel. She's been good in her second game. But there's the curse. Hasn't been able to get back to her feet to play the ball properly. And Parramatta's goal line defence gets a result here. Just a clean drop.
Okay, Matt. Newcastle challenging the on-field decision of a lost ball.
Captain's challenge.
Well, did a Parramatta hand come in there in an attempt? Is that a Parramatta hand that pushes that down?
Just looking to see if there's any hand in the ruck by Ellie Johnson.
Well, Mackenzie's reaction suggests that she was incensed by some involvement from the opposition here.
The right hand of
There it
Ellie
is.
Johnson swings back across the ruck and knocks the ball free. The challenge by Newcastle is successful.
So the challenge works.
We've not seen many offloads, but in that last tackle, just before that play the ball there, we saw 2 of them in the one tackle.
So the penalty goes to Newcastle, and an easy decision. Knock the penalty goal over and level it up at 12-all. You're right, only the 4 offloads in this game, and only the 1 by Parramatta. We're about to see Caitlin Moran, the 25-year-old, come on for her NRLW debut. That sounds really strange to say, given that she's played for New South Wales and Australia. Her name was in the squad list in 2018 before the ACL, and very belatedly, Caitlin Moran arrives on the NRLW scene.
I was going to say, Kira Dibb will not mess this up, but the commentator's curse has hit us both today, so I'll leave it to you, Kira.
Kira Dibb to level it at 12 apiece. She does so. 22 minutes remaining. 12 on 12, and Caitlin Moran onto the field.
Love to see where she's actually going to play. We'll see where she lines up, because we know she's a very handy 6 or 7. She's a playmaker in the halves. I really hope she has a wonderful debut here, given the tough journey she's had to get here. She's waited since 2018. There she is, Caitlin Moran.
We've got a game here, the last in round 3 of NRLW. We saw Brisbane bounce back to the winner's circle yesterday. Can Parramatta do the same here? Newcastle trying to stay unbeaten with the Roosters. What is made of the Roosters, Tasha? Their form, 100 points for, only 30 against.
They are definitely the team to beat this season. The Roosters are crowing.
Is Teitzel standing in the tackle. Manzelmann goes towards Caitlin Johnston, who just drags the defenders with her. Caitlin Johnston, what a carry. Moran, her first involvement is a kick towards Broughton at the back, who takes the ball in the corner and almost is taken into touch.
Great confidence booster there for Caitlin Moran. First touch of the ball, puts the boot up. Parramatta find themselves fighting themselves out from their own right-hand corner.
Decent run by Rakia Horn, backed up here with another scoot out of dummy half. It was Tess Staines, the try scorer today. Now Jemima Taufa. Yeah, last time these teams met, Taufa more than 150 run metres, 5 tackle busts, 35 tackles, which is about par for her, and a try. So the experienced number 13 with this game on the line, is it her again to break it open as we look at Ruben Sherrington, the debutante, out there in jumper 18, and they'll just hand it over 10 metres into Newcastle territory. Should they have done better on the final play there, Tasha?
They certainly should have, Matt. big fan, get to the kick. You've got to get to the kick to strangle the other team in field possession. But to hand it over just at the 40, not good enough, Parramatta.
I might go back to Nico Pajarillo sideline. Nico, when it comes to that Southerly that was howling to start the game, is it still as big a threat?
Matty, as we speak, it is, but it sort of goes in and out, very similar to the sun. One moment it's sunny, the next it's coming down with rain. Similar to the wind, it sort of comes and goes, so it's very unpredictable here, and the players are no doubt having to adapt as we see a bust.
By Clydesdale, she's tackled 10 metres out. I was wondering whether it was a conscious decision by the Eels not to kick, and now Caitlin Moran receives a pass way out in front. She can't take it cleanly. A knock on against Newcastle.
Try as she might, it was very far out in front. Teammates come up to her and say, don't worry about that. That ball was way out in front. Caitlin, don't let that mess with your head. Yeah, Manselman just not finding the spot there. You want that ball out in front on your chest so that you can play eyes up footy and you've got time to make the right decisions.
Here's Gail Broughton. Yet to see the best yet from Broughton in this contest.
Certainly showing signs of that just last week, Matt, but we haven't seen much of that out here today. Still 18 minutes. That danger left-hand side attack where she links up with Tiana Penatani. Plenty of time for that to come.
Foliaki was well wrapped up by Bobby Law and now charged by Ruby Jean Kennard. Ellie Johnston looking to offload the ball. In the end, she has to take the tackle. The fourth tackle. Savannah Taufa. So final play with Preston. Receiving the ball now, stepping away from Dib and getting the kick up. It'll sit up in this breeze. It's on the ground still, picked up by Rakia Horn. She gets her second, and Parramatta go back into the lead. It's the kick again from Taylor Preston. 2 try assists, both from the boot. This one finished by Rakia Horn.
Well, don't the Parramatta Eels love scoring off the boot of Taylor Preston? She puts it up so nicely. The girls know they put on a great chase. Kira Dibb tried to rush Taylor Preston to the kick. Both Knights players went up. Did they get in each other's way? Neither of them able to secure that ball. But Johnny on the spot, Rakia Horn, happy to grub for that ball down on the ground as it's knocked over here by the Knights, picked up cleanly. Rakia Horn, that's a definite 4-pointer and her second of the day, Matt.
Coming here, 1 try in 5 seasons of NRLW, and she's gone to 3 in 1 game, her first career double. But the kicking of the second game NRLW halfback, Taylor Preston, today. In general play, and off the tee, as we're about to see here. She's nailed the first 2 with this remarkably unique style. Watch this at home. Can she go 3 from 3? This time it's hooked to the left of the uprights.
Disappointing there, because I've got to say it's one of the easiest kicks that she's had today. She's had success with the boot, albeit unorthodox, and here we see the kick go up. Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication there by the Knights, and Rakia Horn happy to take the scraps. Doesn't matter if it's not pretty, it's still 4 points, and a vital 4 points. Great try for the Parramatta Eels.
Scored the first try, Rakia, in the 9th minute, now again in the 53rd. Multiple lead changes in this game, and we're not done yet by any stretch with 15 minutes to play. But Parramatta hunting their first win of the season. Can they close it out this time? They were close last week against the Dragons, beaten by 6. And Foliaki. Left up by Moran and Clydesdale. Here's Taufa. He's caught a little high by Kira Dibb.
Kira, clean now! Kayla, lock in, hold. Wait.
Mailungi
Emma, keep coming.
sends the ball towards Ellie Johnston, who straightens into Boyle.
Billy, let her
Now, you might think that was a little bit odd, Ellie Johnson dummying to the left, but we have seen her do it. We have seen her dish the ball off well, so she does have a passing game in her.
Tackle. Lock in, Marcus.
Strong
hold.
contact by Caitlin Johnston there.
Wait. Go.
Foliaki a little slow to play the ball afterwards. Now, Taylor Preston knocks it down this sideline perfectly. It's taken by Upton, just in the field of play. She thought about going to Teitzel, but instead takes the tackle.
And well read there by Upton, because I think she was quite right. As close to the sideline as that kick was, I'm pretty sure it was going to bounce infield.
Next weekend, Newcastle go on to play the unbeaten Roosters. Will it be two unbeaten teams? Firstly, we need a Knights comeback. We don't know where next weekend's games will be yet, Tasha. They'll be anchored to the men's NRLW finals. But the week after that, there's a triple header in Gosford. You can get your tickets at nrl.com/tickets for what will be a Butte Day on the Central Coast. 3 straight NRLW games. Round 5 that will be before they also head into finals.
And they're talking, Matt, that next week's round, even though it hasn't been announced as yet, that all 3 games will be played on the Saturday. As the kick goes up, nice and deep.
Testain's back there, Enderone in goal, willing it to keep on rolling, but it stops. Staines has to play at the ball. The chase is good, and Parramatta are trapped 5 metres out from their own line.
Can I say what a fabulous kick downfield that was by the Knights. I believe it was Jessie Southwell.
And then Zali Faye for Parramatta comes from the other wing to get involved. There were so few Parramatta Eels back there. And Penatani, slow play the ball. Taufa. And Samana Taufa, that's the sort of run the Eels needed. Contact, then go forward. Turning the defence around. And a penalty off the back of the Ellie Johnston carry.
No, it's not quick.
And late in the tackle count too. That's costly.
Yeah, Shell.
They've done so much good work off the back of that brilliant kick, Tasha, to then concede the penalty late in that tackle count. That'll hurt.
Yeah, especially the first couple of tackles. You could tell the Knights, they wanted to pin them down there, but not so as the Eels get another full set.
Ruby Jean Kennard through. Needing support, Kennard stopped 20 metres out. Newcastle backpedaling. Here come the Eels. Ball to ground. It's cleaned up and play continues.
A bit of a kick to the head there, accidental of course, but what a great run by the 19-year-old Ruby Jean Kennard to get Parramatta down here into dangerous field position. She's got that cleanly.
Yeah, and just some knees in the back. Accidental from Tamika Upton as she came in to make the tackle. Christian Piot, who led their go forward to half time. Now it's Vanessa Foliaki with 122 run metres for the Eels, the only Parramatta player in triple figures. Ellie Boyle with a game-high 137 run metres, but Parramatta in position to strike here. Penatani's pass goes to ground. It's been picked up, and Newcastle away through Parker.
Shanice Parker does well there to stay in.
So look to settle a little bit here, Newcastle, having fed on the error from Parramatta.
Look at the commitment. Both teams in defence, Matt. Both teams getting down to close to the last 10 minutes as we see here how that turnover occurred. Shanice Parker scraps it up and bolts with that ball.
Caitlin Johnston.
Ellie off the arm.
She's up above 100 run metres now as well. Caitlin Moran to the line, chipping. Looking for Whitfield, who's there, but it's taken instead by Staines, who passes for Broughton under immense pressure. Gale says, thanks very much. And now Staines has her run.
That's twice now Caitlin Moran has chosen to kick early. Neither of them coming off successfully. The first one, a better kick, trapping them down the left-hand corner.
Again, it was Faye looking for the ball. Now, my Lungy off the back of that.
Release Olivia. Oh, wait. Kira comes in.
Preston passing right at the line.
Last shackle. Straight up, Millie.
Giving the round to the kitchen by Millie Boyle. Preston again kicks well. She strikes the ball nicely. It floats down on the full for Upton.
As good as that kick was, Matt, what about the awareness that is Upton as she now sees an opposition player suffering a bit? Ask the ref, stop the game, please. We have a player down. Sally Mailangi. Hit to the right eye, or just below it. How does that happen? Was it a hip? Was it an elbow?
It's Mailangi making what appeared to be a copybook tackle, but there's been some sort of knock there for the Parramatta number 9. Big Sunday ticket ahead. Knights, Sharks in your first NRL game, then off to Leichhardt for Tigers, Raiders. The Raiders have stamped their finals ticket, barring a 54-point loss, but that won't be happening today, Tasha. So Ricky's Raiders, their finals bound. What team did Canberra send out this afternoon? And can the Sharks win here and go back into second spot ahead of the Cowboys, who assumed that position provisionally last night? The offload for Teitzel. Olivia Higgins appealing. There's an injury.
You tackle 4, Romy Tetzel to play it.
To right ankle. Romy Teitzel. Just might need a little minute just to shake off that initial pain. Test it for weight bearing. Oh, there it is there. Little twist.
So we've had Autumn Rain Stevens Daly forced off with an injury already for Newcastle. Jessie Southwell was able to shake an ankle injury that saw Nevada George go and report for a hip drop. And now Romy Teitzel is able to continue as well. Sally Mailangi freeing herself of the effects from her head knock a moment ago. So as with most NRLW games, this one not without its fair share of bumps and bruises as Southwell gets the kick away. Out towards Zali Faye, who catches well, and Faye comes back towards the middle of the ground.
Met by Boyle. And there's something else. Yep, no.
Teitzel as well in there. I think they thought there'd been an error. Penatani. Just waiting for the Gale Broughton, Tiana Penatani moment. Will it come? 8.5 minutes left.
I'm sure Coach Dean Witters would like it to come. I'm sure Griffiths there for the Knights had plenty of watching of the video takes of that combination.
Now Taufa. They scored 2 tries, 1 each last weekend in a beaten team. If they combine now, they'll go a long way towards sealing this game and a first win for the Eels. Preston gets the kick away. It hangs up in that southerly, and Upton perfectly positioned again.
That's what makes it really hard, the wind coming and going, but definitely the Eels are running against the wind in this half. So putting up a high kick, my look out there that it doesn't go very far, but the wind certainly prevents that from going very far.
Here's Clydesdale. Now Higgins for Dibb. Nice offload back. Boyle winds up. Takes strong contact. Now Moran for Clydesdale again.
Last tackle.
They have effective edge forwards, don't they? Clydesdale
Last tackle.
and Teitzel. And now the kick, an aerial contest, and they're getting through quickly. Caitlin Johnston makes sure there's no chance of bringing the ball back into play. The Knights force the goal line dropouts.
That they do with that kick, and Caitlin Johnson went to the air. Caitlin Johnson, great defensive effort there, but I think she was considering herself to be half a chance of leap up there and grab that ball, Matt.
She was going for the try, not the tackle. Ultimately, it proved to be the tackle. As Brought drives the kick, it's taken by Moran. And she goes straight to Predabon.
Vanessa, let her up.
Looking to level it up.
Fucking home.
Higgins down the short side. Moran can't shake Preston. He does enough in the tackle. Assisted by Foliaki. Now Higgins across the ground. Here's Predabon again. One try already today. The crowd quickly on board with Taylor Predabon as well. Now the ball lost, and it's been taken by Upton, but ruled knock on. That's a
As
strange
Tamika
one.
grabs it, it comes
Is
in
off the
contact
head,
with the power
knock
play
on?
to knock on.
Knocked forward by Newcastle, then I think Tamika Upton has reached forward, even though being behind the player. So there's Yasmin Clydesdale, and knocked on there, that second fumble.
Yep, couldn't see that from this, but that angle definitely showed. Again, the referee's correct.
Shake of the head from Yasmin, but there's still time. Just over 5 minutes to play. A win here by Parramatta really opens the competition up over the last couple of rounds. Top four.
Absolutely. We saw the Broncos, after losing their first 2 rounds, come up with a win. Well, fingers crossed for the Eels if they can do exactly the same. And let's not forget the Premiership winning Roosters started from 2 losses last season.
They relied on for and against in the final round to make the finals and go on and win the Premiership. So it's still very much alive, especially with an Eels victory here. As Mailangi takes the tackle, 28 metres out. Kennedy Cherrington.
Met with some magic defence there. Millie Boyle and Predabon, both effective tacklers. And you see Clydesdale comes in and says, yes, I can do that as well.
Just saw some Knights as well with Kalen Ponga in the middle of them. Not playing because of those head knocks, but the Knights are here to repay home fans with a victory at last at McDonald Jones Stadium. Just the 2 here this season. They'll be more effective on the road, the Knights. That's bizarre this season.
What a great take under the high ball is Tamika Upton. As the Knights have another attacking try, they've got to get themselves into some good field position.
And is it this lady? Is it Tamika Upton to break Parramatta open? Sammy Bremner has been in startling form as fullback for the Roosters. Well, Tamika Upton now up to 186 run metres, 5 tackle busts. And here she is again, more metres, a run that will almost take her past 200. And the ball knocked down by the Eels. So Newcastle will still have good position here.
Very concerned. Is that just a cramp, or is it an injury there from, is it Vanessa Foliaki?
Cramp it is, and she's been battling with it over the last couple of minutes. Vanessa Foliaki, who's been important to the Eels, hasn't she, today, with 13 carries, 126 run metres, a couple of tackle busts, a line break.
Just hoping that she can get out. Oh, it doesn't look like she's going to shake that nasty cramp. Carrying her from the field. I think it's a cramp, man.
Nothing early in this scrum.
That's what we'll get to Nico to confirm that in a moment. But it didn't look like cramp as she left the field, unless as soon as she puts weight on it, the muscle cramps up. I'd love to go to Dr. Andrew Voss about that, but he's busy studying for the next game, which is Knights v Sharks. The Sharks aiming for a top 2 finish. They can reach out and touch it But they've got to beat the Knights at McDonald Jones Stadium as Taylor Predabon is tackled 9 metres out. Newcastle looking to level it up right here. Millie Boyle. Boyle with about 4 or 5 Eels around her to force her back. The crowd appreciating this fight, and they're in. They've levelled the game, Newcastle. Out of dummy halves. They spot the gap in the defensive line and make their move.
Well, we saw some powerful runs there leading up to that. I think that's Mackenzie Wheel. Is that Mackenzie Wheel or Olivia Higgins? It's Olivia Higgins who gives the ball to Prevedon. Powerful run, setting up the platform for the Newcastle Knights. Then Higgins picks it up from the dummy half positions, as we see so many tries, and more often than not, these powerful tries from these number 9s that dummy and go over the line for a try, they're often close to the post, making it easier for their I think it's Kira Dibb that's going to take this conversion, which is all-important conversion for the Knights.
Olivia Higgins scores her first try of the season, just the second of her 10-game NRLW career. Season at the Roosters, and now a Newcastle Knights, 22 years of age, and she scored a try to set up this conversion attempt to send Newcastle to the lead. Kira Dibb, the Knights are on track to stay unbeaten. There's 70 seconds to play, and they're up by 2.
Just a quick injury update. I've spoken to the Eels, and Vanessa Foliaki's issue is just a really bad case of cramp, so no serious injury there.
Thank you, Nico. Sideline. So what's the option here for Parramatta, who've led for much of this game?
Going to go the short kick, Matt.
It has to be the option, but it has to be executed properly.
Has to be chased. Has to go the 10.
How good is this for the NRLW players as the crowd builds to be performing in front of thousands of people putting up the Newcastle chant, which hasn't been heard a lot here this season.
As the Roosters played to a home game on Friday night.
Taylor Preston's short kickoff wasn't quite short enough. They're out of their chairs, sideline, applauding the take. And they're only one set away. And now the strip. Well, here's a twist. Inside the final minute, a fantastic one-on-one strip. It came from Kennedy Cherrington. So all is not lost yet for the Eels. Final minute, 32 metres out. Preston, her kicking game. Now the ball from Broughton. It's been knocked on by Bobby Law. So Parramatta will race here to form the scrum and open up the best part of, what, 2 or 3 plays to pinch the game late. Now time off.
Time off, you can stand up.
Finally, the refs called the time with 23 seconds remaining. I'm thinking you're just going to get 2 plays there, Matt.
Well, then it has to be surely Gail Broughton sweeping around to the left, trying to link with Tiana Penatani.
Oh, Gail Broughton. Did she seem to be limping
Well,
now?
she looks hobbled at the moment, but Taylor Preston is to the left with Penatani outside her. That's the way they go. Tiana just overran her halfback momentarily, and now Preston takes a tackle. 10 seconds left. Parramatta 25 out. It will come down to one final play. Now they sweep the ball back to the right. It's taken by Cherrington. Here's Gail Broughton. Long out to Tess Staines. Staines gets the kick in. Tamika Upton is there. And Newcastle have stayed unbeaten. The Knights keep the Eels at bay and go 3 from 3 to open NRLW 22. A thrilling finish at McDonald Jones Stadium. Parramatta fighting hard for their first win, but Tamika Upton is congratulated. The big final play, and Newcastle win it at the death, 18-16.